My favorite scene in the movie was around 15 minutes in, it was the motorcycle chase. The attention to detail was incredible, and it was just a very colorful scene.
It's at the end where Tetsuo is evolving into some kind of creature where there's different body parts exploding, and then the character gets stuck inside and tries to work its way out. And that's kind of neat. You don't see that in everyday cartoons anymore.
What we did is we started, first of all, they took the original negative of Akira and they printed it to an IP or an interpositive film, which then arrived here at the IVC, and we put it up on our Spirit data center with a colorist, and we proceeded with supervision to color correct scene by scene to a high definition VTR that recorded the whole movie.
The difference between standard definition and high definition is the picture, there's more resolution, it's sharper, clearer, and a little better color space, which makes for a more vivid color.
From that point, we took and went into what we call our DRS process, where we scene by scene go in and remove and eliminate a large part of the dirt and scratches that were in the original negative.
DRS stands for Digital Restoration Services, and it was developed through a mathematician and a film editor, and the object was to get dirt out of film. And it started back in about 1994, and I was one of the originators that used the prototype computer. And here it is 2001, and we streamlined it to do HD now. And it's a perfect example how you can use the technology now to make an old movie even better. So how DRS works is we bring in the material, which happens to be HD 1080i, and we scan through the material until we find a piece of dirt. And then what the computer does is it realizes that frames before and after that dirt doesn't exist. And I just tell it that to remove that piece of dirt, and it does. There's a before and there's an after.
After that time, we then passed it through a real-time process that eliminated some of the fine grain. So there's a lot of care and process taken upon that to eliminate a lot of that dirt, get it finally then processed to a fully restored digital master on a VTR, at which time from that point we did a digital cinema screening of it in front of the clients to verify and quality control check that to make sure it was presentable both for a digital cinema film and a DVD release.
THX was founded by George Lucas to assist the producer in putting out the highest quality home release product. THX was brought into the project to assist in the digital restoration of this title. And in doing so, we oversaw the high definition transfer, ensuring that all the qualities of the film were maintained while certain corrections were made. This is involved dirt removal, consulting for certain image qualities to make this a cinema quality release as well. But then taking an active part to make sure that same image is maintained through the DVD authoring and compression stage. So we take and have a very broad scope of involvement, involving not only the film transfer, but every step of post-production down to the DVD product itself.
We really try to specialize in restoring film soundtracks to bring them up to date and take advantage of modern technology to make them really more exciting with today's formats, digital television, DVD, film, multi-channel soundtracks. So we really approach things trying to maintain integrity and use original sound elements along with new pieces brought along to really enhance the experience and really try to, while keeping integrity, really leverage today's technology to make these soundtracks really special.
My main job on the Akira 5.1 dub as supervising sound editor was mainly to hold true to the original Japanese creation and content and yet update it for a newer system of sound delivery, 5.1 sound delivery. and I supervised the dialogue, editing and recording, and any additional effects that were added to the show. But most importantly would be eliminating absolutely nothing that the original creators had given us and just adding to that and blending it in.
It's a girl. Here we go again. Kaneda? Hey!
Okay, we're in the process of restoring the movie Akira, which we're trying to bring it into the realm of 5.1 audio arena of sound.
5.1 is really, it's the modern soundtrack delivery format for everything from theaters to digital television to DVD. It's really becoming commonplace now for consumer audio. 3 channels in the front, surround channels in the back, 2 of them stereo, and a subwoofer channel. It really lets the mixers, lets the creative staff, the sound staff, really place the listener in the environment and really involve them in the picture, so that it really adds and enhances the experience of enjoying the movie.
Some of the most difficult scenes are with multi-characters, where we have sometimes 10 to 12 separate characters talking all at the same time. So there's a lot of intricate audio sound moves that have to be made. And here on the stage here we have a Logic 2 Neve console that remembers every move you make. It's called automation. And so anytime I push a fader up, it remembers exactly what I do. So you have to go through each character and turn them up when they're talking or when an important dialogue line is made.
I really enjoyed working on the project. I love working with Ted Hall, the remakes engineer, and of course I would love working on it. It's mainly what we do at our studio is work on Japanese animation, and to be given the opportunity to go back and address the biggest title in the history of the genre. Of course, who's not going to want to jump on that if you really love it? And I think the restored picture is amazing. The audio job, we're working as hard as possible to make sure it stands up to the new picture. So yeah, it's an amazing experience. Loved working with everybody on it.
It was great. It was a total shock when I got the call.
And I was like, oh yeah, well, I guess I'll do it. Yeah, sure. I hung up and I was like, woo! Started watching the movie. I was like, yeah, I got it, I own it.
I think it was great working on it. I've heard so much about it, and it's sort of its own institution. It's got a huge fan base, and I really feel like it's an honor to be a part of this one.
Akira was actually the first anime that I'd ever seen. I was in film school at NYU, and in the village there's like all these art house theaters. This is like at least a decade ago. And I wandered in, and I saw this big poster for this really cool looking animated movie called Akira. And I didn't know what it was, and by the time I'd come out, I had decided I wanted to do voiceovers. So now, so many years later, already, being an established voiceover artist, when I got the opportunity to do this movie, it was like everything came full circle.
Well, I guess by saying I'm Kay's boyfriend, it's stretching it a bit. It depends upon your point of view. He's a street punk kid. He's an orphan, and so he's got this macho kind of thing. But we haven't gotten physical or anything. You understand, don't you? No, I'm not. He's a cool character. It was a fun character to play, actually.
And even before that, maybe there was genetic material in the air and water, and even particles of dust in space. I think the most challenging thing about this part is the character's kind of internal conflict that's going on. She's got a cause that she's fighting for, she's very devoted to, and she's also very much in control, and I think there's just a lot of internal turmoil going on, and so it's kind of a challenge illustrating that and keeping her strong and still making her very interesting and dimensional.
He's very emotionally nuts. I mean, he goes really far in terms of being frightened or in pain to the point of insanity, and I didn't want it to sound charactery.
I want him more than dead! I'll split his freaking head open!
I wanted it to have that feeling of real people in extraordinary circumstances, and that this is actually happening to them no matter how unbelievable the circumstance may be. The pain is real, the insanity is real, the fear is real, and I hope I put that across.
Yeah, this movie drove everybody insane, and I'm worried about the director. He came in a cape, and it was pretty scary. I thought this movie was really cool. I've got to work on a lot of different movies, and this was the biggest scale one. I mean, out of all the Japanese animation, that was the one thing that really impressed me with this movie, was just there's so many people. I mean, we had so many different wall of groups in, and it was pretty impressive.